Okay, welcome to Bitrix24 Live. I am Damien Edwards, the Commercial Manager of Interface. We're Bitrix24 Gold Partners based in the UK. We have offices in the US and the UAE, and we're able to provide Bitrix24 customers with support services such as implementation, customization, on-site or online training. So if you want to get in touch with us, at any time, our contact details are on the screen there. We can provide you with a demo and answer your questions about Bitrix24. For today, if you want to post any questions, then please do so in the chat window and we will answer those questions and stay online for about an hour if we get enough questions through. We have had some questions through via email, so I will start with those email questions. So the first question we have had in is, can you explain how the Extranet site works? Is this just for external clients to use? So the Extranet site is for external clients, absolutely. So it's an area where you can collaborate with your clients or suppliers or other third parties, and it's free for them to use. You can invite in as many of your external clients as you choose to. Essentially they get access to all the features of a work group. Let's have a look what they can access. So if we go into a work group, so the main features of a work group will be the activity stream here, so you can chat with them, share documents, and generally collaborate with them, teams of people within this activity stream. They get access to tasks, so if you're working on a project for them, then you can give them access to certain tasks within that project. You can set permissions on tasks, so they only see a certain number of tasks that you want them to have access to, and then inside a task you're able to ask questions or present things to them, and they can comment on that task at the bottom. There is a calendar that Extranet users get access to, so you can share key events with those external people. There is a drive, so you can share documents. It's a good place to store all the documents that are related to a particular project and give access to external parties. There is a tool called Lists as well, which is a way essentially of creating tables of data to store information about a project. So this one here we created is called Expenses. So essentially you've got a list of items that people have, or costs associated with a project. Reason why you might want to use a list for storing a table of information inside Bitrix rather than a spreadsheet. You can do very good filters. So we've got an approved and rejected status here, so I could filter by, just approved for example. So you can filter on that set of information and drill down to get the items that you're looking for. In addition to that, you can run business processes. So you can create either automated processes or processes that users can run manually. In this example, we have a process to submit an expense for approval. But you can create any number of different business processes to help you manage lots of information flow. So that's lists, and then there is a chat tool as well. So everybody that's in the project group gets access to the chat tool here. So we can, same as you would on any other chat tool like Skype, you can exchange messages, you can have video and voice calls, you can share files, you can even share screens if you're using the desktop app. So there's a lot you can do inside a work group to collaborate with suppliers and clients inside there. So the question was, is it just for external clients to use? Well, I mean, it's designed for external parties to access, but you can invite anyone into a work group. And the key thing is, as I mentioned, is that there's no charge for users of a work group. So if you're on a package where you're paying by users, so some of the self-hosted editions, you buy packages of 50 or 100 or 250 users. That's main users, so you can be on a 50 user package and you can invite in 100 clients, and there's no extra charge. You don't need to upgrade your license to a higher license. So that's the Extranet. Can you explain how pipelines work inside the CRM? Yeah. So pipelines work inside deals, and if we go into a list view of deals, so if we can see here in this list, we've selected the pipeline option, so you can see that different deals are in different pipelines, and the reason why we have different pipelines is that different businesses have different streams of income. So the example we sometimes use is an estate agency business or real estate business, and you'll have two sides to the business. You'll have a sales and a rental side, and they need to operate differently. They'll have different stages they go through in order to close a sale, and so these stages across here, they can be different for different pipelines. You can also do different permissions as well, so you have different people can have access to different pipelines, and you can create different automation as well on different pipelines, separate automation for separate pipelines. You can filter deals via pipeline. So in this example, we've got UK-US office pipeline. So we've done it geographically, but you can you can use pipelines for different product ranges or different income streams or different regions, however you want to do that. But I can select my UK office here, and it will show me deals that are relevant, that are just sit inside that particular pipeline. We also have funnels and tunnels, and this allows you to move a deal or copy a deal from one pipeline to another automatically. So what we might want to do is, when a job is, let's say, on hold here, we might want to move that to a new pipeline down here. So automatically copy that particular deal from this USA office pipeline to this Asia pipeline here and start it at this stage. We can configure how that works as well, so you've got an option to run it immediately or have a time delay. Generally you'd probably run that immediately. We can add in conditions, so you can look at a field, let's say responsible person, and that responsible person is this user here, then the deal will be duplicated into the new pipeline. You can use any of the fields that exist inside a deal and use that as a condition. So save that. You can name the deal the same as the existing deal, or you can write in a new name, or you can be more dynamic about that. Say you want to put in, you might want to put the deal name in, but you might want to then also tag on to the end of it responsible person's name as well. So you can use any of the fields that exist within the deal to populate the name of the new deal, and down here it asks you who wants to be responsible for that new deal. So you can do quite a lot of automation there within the funnels and tunnels. Just put our contact details up on the screen. If you've got questions, if you want to post them in the chat window, it'll stay online for as long as we've got questions, to about an hour. So we've got additional questions that have come in during the week. Can email us on sales@Intraface if you've got questions you want answered on this session. If you want a one-to-one demo, email us at the same email address, and we will set up a one-to-one demo for you. Next question I've got is, when I create a task, can it create a task ID number? So let's have a look at tasks. So a task by default should have a task ID number. So it's here. So it generates an every record within Bitrix in the CRM or in tasks, they all create unique ID numbers, and a task does the same. So it creates a number here. If you wanted to create an additional number, let's just see if there's in the CRM you can create fields which are sequential numbers, and every time a new record's created, it creates a sequential number. Not sure whether you can do that. No, you can't create, doesn't have the option to be able to create an additional sequential numbered field there, but it does by default assign an ID number, and that number is visible up here. You can also see that in the URL up here as well, so that's the number it uses as part of the URL. So if you wanted to link, if you're doing a business process and you want to send an email out to link to a task, you're looking for this ID number as the field reference when you're creating the URL. Okay, how can I see which of my colleagues are on Bitrix at a given time? So you can do this in a couple of ways. Firstly, I guess the chat bar on the right hand side, that shows you messages that are coming through for you, but it will also indicate over the little icons of the individuals whether they're online or not. So we're on a demo site at the moment, and there's only one user logged in on this site, so we can't see any online indicators, but you'll get a green indicator on those users if they're online. And we've also had we also have a new feature up here. So this tells us, this widget up here, actually who's clocked in. So I think they have to be actually clocked in on the time management tool at the top. So this tool here is an optional tool that allows you to set, as a manager, set a clock in and clock out time and require people to clock in and out at those times. It allows you to manage which time they've worked during the day. They can pause a day on a break, and then they can continue, and you can roll that time up and then calculate how long somebody's worked. So if we clock out, then you can see this has actually changed to clocked in, no users. So that's the widget, tells you who's online. If I scroll over it, clock in again. If I scroll over it, then it does give me some a list of people that are online. Okay. Do you offer training on site? I need help to understand the CRM. So we can do training on site, of course. We've got the option. You have the option to take it on site in your office or online, and depending where you are, then the charge will vary a little bit. Online's the same, but if you're doing it on site, then it depends how far away from one of our offices you are. We'll charge for the time on site and a bit to travel as well. But we certainly do training. We can do consultation and training on site in your office. The consultation would be the sort of process of establishing just how you're going to implement Bitrix into your business. And that's quite often a free of charge process where we can visit you and do that scoping out of your requirements. But when it comes to training, we generally charge for training on site. But if you get in touch with us, sales@intraface.com, we can give you a quote, find out how much time you want, give you a quote for that work. Is it possible to have a test environment before making changes to the live site? So with the cloud environment, you can create as many free accounts as you like on the cloud. So you can create an additional site. Go to Bitrix24.com. You can create an additional site, and you can use that as your test and dummy site. You can't deploy from one site to another automatically. You're going to have to do that manually. If you've got a self-hosted edition, then we can set up a staging environment for you on your server. We're self-hosted. You can either host it yourself or we host it in our own data center. Whichever you choose, we can set a staging environment up for you. So this is what we do when we're doing any sort of reasonable size project. We'll have a development environment. We'll have a pre-production and a live production environment. So we'll do development in the dev site. We'll send it to the pre-production. It's then tested by us and by your guys at your end. And if you're happy with it, it's then automatically deployed over to the live environment. So that's a much easier process, especially for larger implementations that have complex customization work. But you would need a self-hosted to be able to do that, to have that testing environment and that sort of staging environment that's easily deployable to the live instance. Otherwise, just create a free account on Bitrix. So how do I add more stages to leads and deals inside the CRM? Let's have a look. So that's really straightforward. If you can't work out how to do it, it might be because you're not an administrator without the rights to be able to do that. The question: add stages to leads and deals. So leads and deals both have these different stages across the top. On deals, as I mentioned earlier, depending on which pipeline you're in, you can have different sets of stages for different pipelines. And you can change these stages. So if you're an admin, you'll have a settings link here. If you're the one that's created an account on the cloud, then you'll be an admin automatically. If we go to first one here, statuses and drop downs, and if we go to lead statuses, first one again, then here are our statuses. We can add, a new status. We can color these to suit. You can move those around. So you can have, by default, you've got to have an initial status here. You've got to also have a won and a lost status as well. Can add additional lost statuses. So if you want to record reasons why you've lost a deal, you can have a number of different lost statuses, and then you can report on that later on. And then you've got the statuses that sit within the middle here. So you can rename the existing ones, or you can create new ones, or indeed delete ones. You can have really as many as you want. If we just look down to deals, then you can see these here: UK Office deal stages, USA Office deal stages. So these are the different pipelines, and as I've mentioned, you can have different stages, color them differently, and name them differently for different pipelines inside there. So we've just got a couple more questions. Let me just put my contact details on the screen there. We are based in the UK and the USA and the UAE, so if you want to get in touch with us, we can provide you with a demo. The way it works is we ask you about your requirements, what's important to you, and we'll tailor a demo to suit your particular needs. We'll show you how those features that you need can be implemented and how they'll work inside Bitrix. So we can do a demo for you. We can present a proposal for you, exactly how it'll work, what it'll cost, how long it'll take, etc. And we then provide you with a project manager to manage the implementation process. And we'll then, once that's done, we'll do it in stages, we'll do it in phases. And at the end of each phase, we'll do some training for you. You'll launch that, you'll give us feedback, make changes as required. But we can do the implementation, the training, and then we put you get in touch with get put in contact with a support manager who is available on the phone to answer questions and support you to roll it out to users across the business. So get in touch with us if you want to find out more about how we can help you implement Bitrix24. Regarding the online store, is there any possibility of making my catalogue that it cannot be viewed once a customer registered with us? Is there even a way for customers to create accounts? So is it possible to make it non-viewable once customers register with you? It wouldn't be possible to make it non-viewable. The online store is a public store, and it's not possible to create permissions on that because you're not going to know. You're not going to know who's on the store. So the question is it possible to make my catalogue that can only be viewed once a customer is registered? Sorry, okay, so the other way around. So you'll have a bit of information about the business, and then once they register, they see the products. You can actually do that. You can certainly do it on the self-hosted edition, because with the self-hosted edition you have a much more configurable online store, and it can sit within the extranet area of Bitrix rather than being a public site. It sits inside the extranet area. So with the self-hosted edition, that is it's absolutely possible. On the cloud, it's not possible. It's just a standard store that's available to registered or non-registered users. Is there even a way for customers to create accounts? Now, the Bitrix sites and online, especially the online store, is quite a new module. I don't know. I would assume that you can create an account as a user, but if you can't, it's probably because that feature's not been launched yet. But almost definitely, if not available now, it will be a feature that's coming. Okay, getting contacts into CRM from Excel spreadsheet, you can do that. So you're talking about contacts. Let's go into the contacts. So importing contacts into CRM, you can import into any of the modules within Bitrix. You need to do them individually, but you can import contacts. So what I would do is select your contacts. Let's go to export to Excel. In fact, no, go to import custom CSV. I mean, you've got different ways to do them from things like Outlook and Gmail, but if you're importing from a spreadsheet, go to import custom CSV, and from here you've got a link here, import file example download. So that will download a CSV file for you, and that will give you all the headers that you need and the format to populate. So if you download that file, if you populate that then with all your information, copy it from your existing spreadsheet or just edit your existing spreadsheet so the column headers are correct, you can then upload that file. It needs to be a CSV format. Generally, I think UTF-8 is generally what you would select, and you then run through this process here. I haven't got a file, so I won't do it, but you run through this process here. the next page will ask you to map the fields on your spreadsheet to the fields inside contacts. If you've got the headers correctly already, if you copied them from the sample file, then it will map them all automatically. So it's straightforward. What you need to do if you're importing contacts is have a field called company name, and then the contacts will automatically sync to the correct company. So Bitrix is separated by companies and contacts. You can filter through companies, and if we go into a company, then companies have contacts associated with them, as do things like quotes and deals and invoices. So, but when you're importing contacts, you need to put the company name in, and it'll then find the right company name, and then it will sit within that company. So let's say we've imported this contact. If you do it properly, company name will be associated to the correct company here. So we don't have any more questions. I can stay online if you have any last questions. Otherwise, we'll close the session in a minute. If you want to get notifications about this session, if you subscribe to Interface on YouTube and Bitrix24, then you'll get notifications. If you want to register for webinars that we do on a Monday, then if you go to bitrix24.com, bottom of their homepage, there's links there to register for webinars. And as I say, if you want a demonstration, then you can get us on those contact details, any of those telephone numbers or our email address there, and we can provide a one-to-one demonstration. So we doesn't look like we have any more questions, so we will wrap it up. But thanks for your time, and